All right, good evening, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started with our ERA meeting for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. My name's Mark Clark. I'm the chairman. I'll call the meeting to order. Can we get roll call, please?
Chairman Clark?
Here.
Vice Chair Pletka?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Neal?
Present.
Commissioner Crabtree? Commissioner Delaney?
Here.
Commissioner Fair?
Here.
All right, next time on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Madam Clerk, any changes to the agenda?
No, Chairman.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. All right, I have a motion, a second, to approve the agenda. We'll go ahead and vote. So we have, that was weird. All right, and that motion passes unanimously, 5-0. All right, next item on the agenda, consent agenda, approval of item 4A, approval of the September 16, 2025 Evans Redevelopment Agency meetings, and we'll go ahead and vote on that. Have a motion for that there. Anybody want to second that? I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Go ahead and submit your votes. And that motion passes 5-0. All right, next item on the agenda, new business, consideration of resolution number ERA-002-2025, adopting the 2026 budget. And we'll hear from staff. That was weird because mine went out. He motioned it, he seconded it. Right, I know, I saw that too.
Good evening, members of the board. So I'm just trying to get the presentation going. Now I'm getting an error message.
Oh.
Circling.
It's a good thing we practiced first, huh?
Unable to connect.
I threw you off by starting it earlier than 6:30.
Got a plan B?
Hold on, I got Plan B. Give me a moment here. Your presentation did not change, did it?
It did not.
Perfect. Give me a second. That didn't work.
Those guys didn't walk off with the other click share, did they?
I don't know. It says you have it open. But I can still do it.
It's not a government.
If not, they're many of the same slides. You might just have to go from memory from last time.
Yeah.
I do.
There we go. Woohoo! Maybe.
Thanks for improvising. Okay, well, we'll move right in. Brian and I just really appreciate the conversation and the thoughtful questions that came up last time we talked about the ERA budget. It really helped us to take the opportunity for the few days after and work with Cody and make sure we had all the priorities right from both the city side and the ERA side. And so we have made a couple of changes to this proposed budget. So we definitely will highlight those as we go through the summary of the budget, but that was really, really helpful. So thank you in advance for those questions. The revenue is a piece that did not change. So we do still show $36,787 of property tax revenue there for the ERA side. Still not showing oil and gas revenue that we know or hope will come, the dollar amount of which we do not know. And we're not showing any sales tax revenue being shown as recognized revenue on the ERA side. The expenditure largely the same in terms of personnel and supplies and services costs that Brian went through last meeting. What we did add is a transfer to the city of $500,000. So what we heard at the last meeting were a couple of kind of goals for this ERA budget. One is to capture the full cost of what it costs to do the infrastructure improvements and the roadway construction at the junction. So we'll talk about that in another slide, but we've incorporated that piece. We also heard we wanted to pay that back to the city as quickly as possible, have a swift plan of repayment. And that third goal of that is to try to get money still held in the ERA for future development opportunities so that we had some money to do something with should that be necessary. So total expenditures going up by $500,000 on the ERA side, and we're showing that as a transfer to the city. So the city side, there is a change on the budget that you'll be considering on the city side as well, showing that revenue in from the ERA of that $500,000. That will give the city some ability to consider adoption of a budget that has some AMP, asset management replacement dollars built into the initial budget. So we're trying to match all the priorities here, and we think we've got a plan that accomplishes that. No change on the personnel side. We're still showing $150,000 as a maximum staffing cost for those functions that serve the ERA that are city employees. Here's where some of the changes do come into place though. So the Evans Junction, we have talked about the cost for the Evans Junction as $1.8 million. So in our prior conversation, you can think, oh yeah, that $1.8 million, forget that number. Brian was really helpful in pulling up a lot of the actual costs to capture a full project cost. What the $1.8 million represented was strictly the 37th Street roadway construction, and really that junction roadway. When we went back and we looked at, oh yeah, we had set aside beautification dollars from the city general fund that we used for site demolition of those concrete pads that were still out there, for some of the underground infrastructure piece for the design of the roadway. And we also used a portion of $1 million that was included in this year's city budget to help with police station needs before we secured our funding. We only needed about $403,000 of that $1 million. The rest of it stayed in the city's general fund, went to reserves to be used for something else in the future. But what that meant was a total project cost of a little over $4.1 million. So again, thank you for those questions. When we went back and thought through, okay, how will the ERA reimburse the city for the true cost of the project? Brian right away said, oh yeah, that 1.8 is just the road. We've been talking about it in terms of the road, but we were missing these other pieces. So what we've tried to do, I'm gonna skip ahead real quick and then we'll go back. What we've tried to do is really expand those numbers at the bottom of our long-range plan for the ERA that shows that loan from the city to the ERA. So let's back up and start in 2024 actual. That very last dollar there is a zero. So at the end of 2024, the ERA did not owe the city anything. In this current 2025 year, we spent not the $1.8 million that was in our budget, but the city spent $4.1 million that we just looked at for the infrastructure and roadway at the junction. So we need to recognize that amount as that loan. What we anticipate happening this year is recognizing sales tax increment of about $750,000 that will help to start to pay back that loan in right away. So for the 2026 budget, we'll start with a loan of about $3.3 million, and we're going to do two things. We're going to pay the city back $500,000 that we saw on the expenditures, and we'll have hopefully another $750,000 of sales tax increment that will help to also draw down that loan. What we've done there's a reimbursement to the city line there where it has the $500,000 for next year's budget. The 2 years after that show $400,000. So we wanted to make a plan for how does the ERA reimburse the city for some of these costs with the proceeds from the sale of lot 1. So over those next couple of years, that'll get that $1.3 million that the ERA received back to the city. We'll continue to accumulate the sales tax increment dollars that the city will hold rather than the ERA, and that draws down the loan between those two entities. So what we hopefully have accomplished in this revised plan are those goals. You know, we hope to, and at least in 2029, if not sooner, that loan will be paid back, not just in that $1.8 million, but the entire $4.1 million of the project cost. Through this time frame, ERA will still have at least a small fund balance or cash balance in that fund to help pay for things. And I really see this as kind of a worst case scenario. Should we sell additional lots sooner? Should we have an increase in the property tax quickly with a new valuation and some redevelopment happening there? These numbers will only get better. Should we have oil and gas income, large amounts of interest income, these numbers will only get better. So we wanted to make a plan that we could live with if those factors didn't happen, that the city was still getting paid back from the ERA. Anything I missed on that?
No, I think she highlighted it very well. I think it's the responsibility of the ERA to reimburse the city for and capture those full expenses. So again, like Jackie mentioned, we really appreciate your guys' conversation and questions you brought to us at our last meeting. It really did make us rethink of how we do this and make sure that we do capture all of these funds moving forward for reimbursement. The other question, what does the ERA do as that expires? Well, the ERA, the tax increment financing will drop off for the property tax. The URA continues, so we will still be able to have those funds and utilize those for beautification along that Highway 85 corridor. The tax increment financing will drop off at that time. So we have some time to do that. But like Jackie mentioned, this is really the worst case scenario. We don't show another lot sale until 2028. Obviously, we're hopeful that we can sell a bunch of them in 26 and 27 and really make this look different next year. But I think this really is a good case for both the ERA having some funds available as well as it's reimbursing the city.
Thanks for adding that. So if we back up a slide and we look just kind of at a summary, our beginning fund balance for the ERA budget will be about $1.6 million, largely because it's holding that entire $1.3 million sale from Lot 1. Revenue of $36,000 and the total expenditures of $750. So that allows ERA to continue to pay for the cost of its operations too and not draw any further on the city, as was done in the past, trying to make the ERA a little bit more self-sufficient also. So ending 2026 budget, barring anything else, and when we hope this will only increase as some other collections hopefully happen here at the end of 2025 as well, but just shy of $900,000. So should an opportunity come up where there's an investment opportunity, there's something else that ERA might want to look at in the next year, at least we have some money sitting in ERA to help with that, whether the city would also partner with that, whatever project might come, that request might come to the city council to consider at that point, but at least the ERA has a little bit of money to work with at this point. I think that's the last slide. Be happy to answer any questions you all might have on the budget.
Great, thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Brian, appreciate it. Any questions or comments? If so, please use the request to speak button. Do you have something?
There is no button. No button.
I'm trying to.
Oh, okay.
Do everything at
We
once.
missed the technology of it.
Not a problem.
There you go.
There you go. Commissioner Neal, I see you're trying to go ahead.
Yes, Jackie, I would like to have a copy of that budget document, if I can get them. I don't seem to have my packet in this. For some reason, I lost it. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, we can get you another copy.
Is that it, Councilmember or
Yes,
Commissioner
that's
Neal? Okay. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
Almost popped up here.
Yeah, sorry, no questions. Just appreciate that $500 or $500,000 transfer. I feel much better about the city's budget with an asset management plan in place for 2026.
All right. If there are no other additional questions or comments, I would entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion and a second to approve resolution number ERA-002-2025. Go ahead and cast your votes. And that motion passes unanimously 5-0. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and we'll start our city council meeting properly at 7.